Every morning, before you even open the back door, the birds are already waiting for you. Not randomly. Not casually. They know your routine. Some of them recognize the sound of your footsteps. Some know what time your kitchen light turns on. Some can tell the difference between you and every other person in your house. And the longer you feed them, the more closely they begin studying you. Most people think they're watching birds, but if you feed backyard birds every day, something much stranger is happening. The birds are watching you back. They know when you're late. They know when you're stressed. They know which path you walk through the yard. And some species can remember human faces for years. Right now, somewhere outside your house, there's probably a bird that has built part of its daily survival around predicting your behavior, and you almost certainly never noticed it. Most people think feeding birds is simple. You pour seed into the feeder, birds show up, birds leave, and that's the end of the interaction. But that's not what's really happening. The moment food starts appearing in the same place every single day, the birds nearby begin building routines around it. And eventually, around you. A small bird survives by conserving energy and avoiding danger, so it constantly studies patterns in its environment. It notices the time you come outside. It notices the sound of the seed container opening. It notices which door you use and how long you usually stay outside. After a while, the birds stop reacting randomly and start predicting your actions before they happen. That's why birds sometimes appear in the trees before you even walk outside. They already know the routine is about to begin. Think about how strange that really is for a second. Wild animals have quietly adjusted their daily schedule around your existence. Somewhere nearby, a small bird may already be waiting in the same branch every morning because experience taught it that food usually appears shortly afterward. The bird is not just reacting to food anymore. It's reacting to the pattern of you. And birds depend heavily on patterns because survival is brutally difficult for them. A tiny bird burns enormous amounts of energy just staying warm and staying alive. Especially during colder months, a bird can lose a huge percentage of its body weight overnight. That means every morning begins with urgency. They cannot afford to waste time or energy searching randomly for food. So once a reliable food source appears, the birds memorize everything connected to it. And that includes you. Your timing becomes part of their survival system. If you usually refill the feeder around 7 in the morning, the birds begin arriving around that time automatically. Some may even wait nearby if you're late. You can actually observe this yourself. Sleep in one weekend and watch what happens. The birds don't immediately disappear. Many of them stay nearby, hopping between branches, looking toward the house, waiting for the pattern to continue. Their brains created a working model of your behavior, and when the routine changes, they notice immediately. What's fascinating is that birds are not simply recognizing humans in general. They're recognizing you specifically. Scientists studying crows discovered that birds can remember human faces for years. In one famous experiment, researchers wore masks while capturing and tagging crows. Years later, the birds still reacted aggressively to those same masks. Even younger birds that had never seen the original researchers learned to recognize the threatening faces from older birds. That's not a simple instinct. That's memory and learning. Backyard birds may not be quite as advanced as crows, but they still pay close attention to human behavior. The birds in your yard study details about you constantly. They notice your body shape, your height, the way you walk, the speed of your movements, and even the colors you wear frequently. Over time, they build a mental profile of you. Safe or unsafe. Calm or unpredictable. Reliable or dangerous. And once they decide you're safe, their behavior changes completely. That's why birds often tolerate one person approaching closer than another. You can test this yourself by having someone else in your household refill the feeder instead of you for a few days. Suddenly the birds hesitate longer. They stay farther away. Some may avoid landing until the other person leaves entirely. The birds understand the difference between people more than most humans realize. And here's the reason this matters so much to them. A bird cannot afford mistakes. If it misjudges danger even once, it may not survive. So evolution made birds extremely sensitive to movement and body language. That's why birds react differently depending on your mood, even if you don't notice it yourself. On calm mornings, when you walk outside slowly with relaxed movements, the birds barely move. Maybe a finch hops sideways. Maybe a chickadee shifts branches. But they stay nearby because your body language appears predictable and safe. Now compare that to mornings when you're stressed or in a hurry. Maybe you slam the back door, rush across the yard, or talk loudly on the phone. Suddenly every bird at the feeder explodes into the trees. Same yard. Same feeder. Same person. Different energy. The birds are reacting to movement patterns that resemble danger. In nature, predators reveal their intentions through movement long before an attack actually happens. A stalking cat moves differently from a relaxed one. A hunting hawk moves differently from a resting hawk. Birds evolved by constantly reading these signals, and humans get analyzed using the exact same survival system. Without realizing it, the birds in your yard may know what kind of mood you're in before other people do. Tiny wild animals are silently studying your behavior every day and adjusting their own actions around it. That's an incredible thing to think about. But this next part may be even stranger. The birds in your yard probably know the layout of your property better than you do. To you, your backyard is a familiar space. To a bird, it's a survival map. Every branch matters. Every escape route matters. Every bush, fence, shadow, and open area has meaning. The cardinal sitting near your feeder knows exactly how long it takes to reach cover if danger appears. The sparrows know which bushes are dense enough to hide safely. The birds know which tree branches sway too much in strong wind and which ones stay stable. They know where the morning sunlight reaches first and which corners remain protected during bad weather. And the moment you start feeding them consistently, you become part of that map too. Your back door becomes a known location. The route you walk across the grass becomes predictable. The spot where you stand holding bird seed develops meaning inside the bird's understanding of the environment. You are no longer just a human passing through the yard. You are now one of the regular patterns inside their world. What's amazing is how quickly birds share information with each other. When one bird trusts a feeder, other birds nearby pay attention. New birds entering the area learn by watching the regular visitors. If chickadees land safely near your feeder every day, other birds begin assuming the area is probably safe too. Trust spreads through observation. But fear spreads the same way. If something dangerous happens, like a predator attack or sudden disturbance, the birds immediately update their understanding of the space. Areas they once used comfortably may suddenly become avoided for days afterward. This is why bird behavior changes so quickly after major disturbances in a yard. Loud construction, aggressive lawn equipment, predators, or constant unpredictable movement can completely change how birds use the space. Birds prefer stability because predictable environments reduce survival risk. That's why consistent feeding routines often attract more birds over time. The yard slowly becomes recognized as stable territory. And maybe the strangest part of all is realizing that feeding birds changes humans too. At first, it feels like a small habit. You put out seeds, watch birds for a few minutes, and continue with your day. But after a while, you begin noticing things you never paid attention to before. You recognize individual birds. You notice which species arrive first in the morning. You notice how the weather changes their behavior. You begin looking at your yard differently because the birds are teaching you to pay attention. The yard stops feeling empty. It starts feeling alive. Shared. Connected. Instead of seeing birds as random background creatures, you start understanding that every bird outside is making decisions constantly. Watching constantly. Learning constantly. And somehow, your ordinary daily routine became part of that hidden world without you even realizing it. Tomorrow morning, before you step outside, stop for a moment and think about this. Somewhere nearby, there may already be a bird waiting for you. Sitting quietly in the same branch it used yesterday. Listening for familiar sounds from inside your house. Watching the back door. Predicting your next movement the same way it predicted yesterday's. You probably thought you were simply feeding backyard birds. But all this time, the birds have been learning about you too.